Is it better to use your target subtitles when you're learning a language through movies or TV shows? So this week, I had a very interesting discussion with one of my students in my premium coaching program, English Sprint Academy, which started last week. At the time, during the class, I was playing a video with English subtitles on, but then in the middle of the video, I decided to turn it off because the subtitles weren't really matching to what is being said on the audio. And then later on, we started discussing about mental translation, and one of my students asked me, is it better to watch videos without the target subtitles? To which I wanted to answer, well, it depends on many things. It depends on your goal, it depends on your level, and it depends on what kind of practice you're trying to do. And then he said again, because I noticed it when you had the subtitles on, I find myself always translating the English that I read to Bahasa Indonesia in my head. So that just rhymed, but I didn't intend it to rhyme. But basically, the point was that when the subtitles were off, he stopped translating. In other words, he was forced to directly understand the materials that we were watching in English directly in English because the video was going pretty fast that he didn't really have any time to translate it to Bahasa Indonesia in his head. Even though with subtitles on, he was too fixated on the words and he was trying to do that extra step of translating it to Bahasa Indonesia. And when I turned the subtitles off, he found out that even without reading the subtitles, he was still able to understand the video, to comprehend the video, even without subtitles. So it doesn't actually happen to me that much before, I don't notice it, but for some others, apparently it does. Thus, having subtitles in the target language triggers you to do more mental translation? Please comment down below because I would really like to hear your opinion and your experience. So for my student, because his goal at the time was to stop getting into the habit of translating everything he understands in English, then watching movies or TV shows or any other videos with subtitles even in English is not a good strategy. So then I told him his homework that week is to watch as many English videos as possible, use no subtitles so that you can try to slowly build that habit of understanding things directly in English and slowly unlearn the habit of always having to translate. Because translating things in your native language whenever you consume content in your target language is just going to slow down your progress. And this is one of the key problems that has to be solved if what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, your end goal, is to be able to speak English or any target languages for that matter, spontaneously. Quit translating in your head. And of course, there are many other reasons why not using subtitles when you watch is a lot better, because it improves comprehension. So if your goal is to be able to understand native speakers in real life, you're gonna have to train yourself to watch videos, movies without subtitles. Because essentially, when you're watching something with subtitles, you're basically reading. You're not really focusing on how things are pronounced. You're not trying to understand what is being said. So it really depends on your goal. So yeah, that was one argument why not using subtitles is actually better to learn. But then the other side of that, my other students brought up the point that two of my students prefer to use it with subtitles because it's going to help them collect new words, phrases, vocabulary, and also it's a lot better to analyze sentence structure if what they're trying to do is to improve their use of grammar. It helps to clarify things using the subtitles, and also it helps to attach written words and how it sounds. It helps to associate written words and audio. So whether or not it's better for you to use subtitles in target language or not using subtitles at all, it always depends on what your end goal is, what your current level, and the kind of practices that you're trying to do. Okay guys, so that is it for this week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope it helps, and if you like it, please don't forget to subscribe and to comment the video for the algorithm, and I'll see you next week in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.